On this episode of Business is Personal, I'm with Dr. Natalia Vychovsky, who is the LinkedIn unicorn, and I'll get her to explain what that means to you. We're also going to talk about how you can find your authentic self and your authentic message for presentation on LinkedIn, and how to make best use of that platform for your business growth. Do you feel disconnected at work? Are you feeling exhausted? Almost like you hate your job and secretly maybe your boss too? This is Business is Personal, a blueprint to discovering and creating meaning at work in collaboration with Smashy TV, a live streaming service in the Middle East for the driven, the dreamers, and the doers. Hi, welcome to Business is Personal. I'm so excited about our episode today. I have Natalia, whose last name is really horrible to pronounce. Wait, I'm going to give it a shot. Vychovsky. Vychovsky. Yes. So Natalia Vychovsky is, I'm going to call her the queen of LinkedIn, because I think that's probably, what did they call you? The LinkedIn unicorn?
Unicorn.
Okay, fantastic. Right. So the queen of LinkedIn, or the LinkedIn unicorn, and she's an absolute expert at helping you to build your personal brand on LinkedIn and in what she calls coach-sulting, which I will have her define for you. Can you tell us what that means to you?
Yes, sure. It's a mix between coaching and consulting.
Right.
For me, when I work with people, I want to get them from here to there.
Right.
And I'm not very strict about, I need to use this method or this method. No, I use elements out of coaching, and sometimes I use elements out of consulting.
Right, of course.
And I'm not very, whatever. As long as the client gets to where I want them to be or where they want to be, fine.
Right. So what would you say, okay, so what does being the LinkedIn unicorn mean to you? I'm interested, I'm curious. How do you define that?
How do you define that?
Yeah.
So it's all based, it's a very long story, I'll cut it short.
Yeah.
A friend of a friend, he's all about unicorns. For him, unicorns is just the key way of looking at things.
Okay.
And he once wrote an article in Inc. magazine in which he interviewed 11 people who are LinkedIn marketing experts, and he called the article 11 Secrets from LinkedIn Marketing Unicorns.
Wow.
The article was published, amazing, and I looked around and nobody used that term.
Wow.
And personal branding, which is also my expertise, it's all
Right.
about symbols and colors and whatever. So I thought, what do I do with that? So I drove to Dragon Mart, got myself a fluffy unicorn onesie, stood in front of the camera, recorded 2 videos, and then needed 1 month to publish the videos because I was so scared what people think. Oh my God, will somebody ever hire me?
That's hilarious.
And then eventually I just took a deep breath, hit the publishing button,
Right.
and people lost their minds. They loved that! And so then I'm the LinkedIn marketing unicorn.
Is it still there, like on your featured section? If people stalk you, they can go find it?
Yeah, they can find
It's
it.
still, you just scroll down and left,
Yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
in there?
Maybe I should have brought it today.
Oh, that'd be so fun. We can probably put it up.
Yeah.
We can link it to the show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay, so for those, I wouldn't call myself a LinkedIn wizard. I think I'm okay. I'd give myself a C+, maybe a B-,
Okay.
on LinkedIn in terms of what I'm doing. I would love to actually have you critique my profile at some point, but in the meantime, what would you say are the things that people are missing most often that would be the most useful to them in terms of building their personal brand on LinkedIn?
A lot of people misunderstand what LinkedIn is. They believe that it is just another platform for an online CV.
Right.
So they structure the whole profile like a CV, and guess what? It turns boring.
Yeah.
For me, LinkedIn is a platform where you build your personal brand, expand your network, find employees, hire talent, get more visibility, generate leads, inspire other people, build an audience. So when you change your mindset around LinkedIn, that is the absolute crucial first step that you're allowed to do. And then the second thing is, why do you want to use it? Because you and I, we know the same thing. When you don't know, when you don't have a goal, when you don't know your why, you're not going to put in the love, the creativity, and energy.
So what's your why?
My why is that I have a creative inner play child.
Is it a unicorn?
It's basically fluid in its expression.
Got it.
So sometimes I call it edutainer, sometimes I call it inner idiot,
Right.
and it needs to express itself.
Right, got it.
Yeah, if it doesn't do that, it's crazy. So for me, I use LinkedIn to edutain people. So to teach them something, to entertain them, through that give back, inspire people, and of course also generate new leads and eventually also, get hired.
Yeah, of course. No, I use LinkedIn for the same thing, for networking. I think I'm less education. I think I'm less entertainment and a little more education probably, but yeah, I use it for the same thing. And I've not been good at it. I personally hate personal branding and I hate personal marketing. I don't like marketing myself. It's awkward. It's weird. And I have no sense of imposter syndrome in that I don't think that I'm presenting myself accurately or authentically. I think I am. I don't enjoy it. I don't like putting myself out there. And I think that's probably the case for a good deal of people, is that they don't enjoy putting themselves out there, creating content, voicing their opinions, because I don't know, maybe they feel already marginalized in their lives, and putting themselves on LinkedIn is just another opportunity for them to be marginalized. What do you think?
There are so many angles I could start from. The first angle would be, okay, when you hate it so much, why do you hate it? Now we can go down the rabbit hole and figure out what the root core belief is that might not serve you anymore. If that is not an area, we could have a look at what elements can we play with so that it's less painful, that it's less annoying, that it's less sucky. And you focus on that, and then you find an incredible team and delegate the rest. So you just focus on your area of expertise and the others do the rest. Before the interview, we were just talking about it. I fully believe that the world is divided into two kind of parties. There's the light and there's the darkness. And the issue that I have is that the darkness, the dark side, is better in PR. They have, I don't know, more manpower, or they scream more convincingly. And those people who are full of light, who are full of hope, who are full of inspiration, they tend to be the, I'm so shy, I hate personal branding. And I'm like, the world needs you. Like, please.
I have a theory about this, actually. I think, so I would call them positivity and paranoia. Yeah, so the light and the dark, the positivity sells and paranoia sells, but paranoia is doing a better job of marketing. Okay?
For sure.
And here's the thing, this is why I think it works, is because paranoia has been governing our survival as humans for about 1 million years, right? Our survival was based on surviving, right? And the world was not a friendly place.
No.
Some parts of it are still not friendly, but up until about 100 years ago, if you could eat more than twice a day, you were rich. If you made more than $1 a day as a household, you were in the 1%. Like, it was sharply bad. The world was violent, and opportunities and resources were scarce for about 1 million years. And then suddenly the 20th century happened. We had incredible technology and incredible abundance. And now we're living in the most peaceful and opportunistic time in human history. And we're just not used to being allowed to live positive lives. I think we're so deeply programmed to consume paranoia, because that's what kept all of our ancestors alive. And that's why it's actually might not be better marketed, but it's much more easily consumed by people.
Well, then you have two choices. Either you go with the crowd and you go like sheep, and you're all about paranoia and scared, whatever. Or you do understand that, okay, I have been programmed, conditioned as part of my old brain, and I actively choose to rewire my brain. By the way, no need to do that on your own. There are experts who can help you. And then it gets easier. I mean, the life quality that you will have, the amount of energy, the amount of people that you can help. Individuals will write you messages, people that you've never met on this planet. Because of you, I am kinder to myself. I finally found my perfect partner. I stopped smoking. I wake up in the morning with a smile on my face. This is the reason, I believe, why we're here. To spread more light.
Like, it's this for me as well. Like, I love it when whether I'm working with coaching clients or doing leadership training or even like corporate restructuring, I love it when I get to mess with people's lives. That's super fun for me. And it's a good, like, I use my powers for good, right? So I'm always looking to try to improve the quality of as many lives as I possibly can. And I think people are just not used to working with incessant, relentless positivity and optimism. They're not used to it, which makes, other voices in our space, like Simon Sinek, he's a bit of an out there character. People are watching him because they're curious, like, what kind of positive thing is he going to say next? And I think I have that kind of character as well, where I'm constantly putting up positivity, and then I see these comments on my LinkedIn. They're like, "Oh, I totally agree. This is great. This is great." And I look at it, I'm like, "Okay, so do they really agree, or is this just sickly? Like, is it sickly sweet?" And I'm questioning the authenticity of people commenting on my own content because of, well, look, I'm also the product of 10,000 generations of successful paranoia, right? So
accept what is, fully surrender to it, enjoy it, use the comments to create even more awesomeness. And the nice thing is, when you create a piece of content, for me that is like let's say a virtual stage that you create.
Sure.
And the content that you've just written or published is the speech that you held. And at the end, you have a call to action, which is as if you would hand over the mic to the audience.
Right.
So all of the comments are basically people sitting in the audience. Nobody forced them to be in that room.
Exactly.
And if they raise their hand and say something, well, they know that people are reading this as well. So if they say something terribly stupid or negative, they are also ruining their image.
Okay.
So it is a two-sided sword. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, the beauty of it is that you bring positive people together. I mean, maybe there is Tom who commented on your post and Lisa, and they realized, you have the same interest. Let's do something together.
Yeah,
so your posts actually create community and link people together. Isn't that amazing?
It is really cool, actually. And I love the conversations that go on. And I think it's important for people to see how their voices not just are influenced by people online, but influence those people online. Because I don't know about you, but I read the comments. I read them. I don't take them all to heart as much as I used to, I think, and that's probably just, exposure therapy, right? A little bit of cognitive behavioral therapy in there. Yeah, I'm safe, I'm fine in my little bubble, you can criticize me, it's okay.
Exactly.
But I think that's one of the fears that a lot of executives have when they're facing content on LinkedIn is, who am I, what is my voice, and is it going to add value to the world? And those are big challenges that my clients face, and I'm sure that yours do as well. So what would you say to them, to you as an executive or a high-level manager that wants to create a personal brand online in terms of figuring out who you are, what your message is, and the value that you want to bring to the world?
First of all, I believe that we all have that little crazy voice that maybe sits here or whatever, and it continuously judges us.
Oh, of course.
Some people would call it imposter syndrome if it goes very far, but we all have that little voice saying, like, you're not good enough. Who are you to talk?
Nobody wants to hear you talk.
You're special.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is normal. You're not sick or crazy or whatever. That's normal. We all have it.
That's right.
Okay. Self-acceptance, first step. Fantastic. Or self-awareness, however you want to call it. Then understand that it's a process.
Yeah.
You can't expect that your first piece of content is going to go viral and the world will stop turning. People will fall on their knees in awe saying, oh my God, we've been waiting for that. Our hearts just cracked open and there's love, only love.
Yeah.
Well, when you start your first post with that expectation, you will be disappointed.
Right.
So maybe we start with the expectation of my first post is going to be mediocre, or maybe even worse, it's going to suck.
Right.
And when you can forgive yourself for that, fantastic. So when you let go of expectations, it's easier.
Right.
And then with every piece of content you improve, it's a new language, a new skill that you learn. And when you don't post out of your perspective, well, look at me, I'm the best, hashtag woke up like this, hashtag no filter. Yeah, I can see the filter. Anyway, then you create content for your audience.
Yeah, sure.
So with every piece of content, when you think out of your perspective, can this piece of content add value to just one person?
Right.
AKA your target audience.
Right.
You need to know whom you're talking to.
Sure.
Because otherwise your message will not be relevant.
Right.
So let's say you know your target customer, you have this one thing you want to share with him or her, you write the post in a way you would talk to that person. So you don't try to be smart or highly intellectual or professional or whatever that means. You really write from the heart, you make it short, again, doesn't need to be a 3,000 characters post. You ask a question towards the end, and then you take a deep breath and you breathe while you hit the publishing button. And everything is going to be okay. Because maybe one last thing, a lot of people believe, and I was that person too, once you publish your first post, again, everybody is going to drop anything that they do right now. They're going to log into LinkedIn and read your post. No. We are way too busy and insecure. We're thinking about our own stuff.
That's right.
And our own insecurities and our own life. So yeah, we will very likely not care about your first piece of content. So you're safe.
And the people who see your content, they have to get over themselves enough to hit the like button, because that's putting themselves out there. And then they have to get over themselves even more to comment something, right? And so you're counting on other people's ability to get over themselves in order to interact with your content when you just put it out there. Here's what I think, okay? I think in 150 years, there's going to be a whole field of study called digital archaeology. And people are going to be mining old content from LinkedIn and hear the echoes of lives that are much more relevant in 150 years from now than they are even now. So I love history, and I have a habit of reading 1,000-year-old books. And I love the idea that 1,000 years ago, some person somewhere was sitting down and writing down these ideas that they had, and not knowing if anybody, you know, other than their 5 closest friends was ever going to read this, because there was only 2 copies of the book. And then suddenly, after they had died, it became proliferated, and then it ended up in a couple of libraries, and it extended throughout the centuries. And then I read it, and I got something out of it, and I'm like, I learned something, and that's cool. And I think what we create online in terms of content, I mean, there's a lot of fluffy content out there, but for those of us who are actually trying to improve the qualities of people's lives through what we produce, improving positivity, improving realism, like all of that stuff, I think there's room for those channels to become echoes that last well beyond the lifetime of a person. And I don't think we've curated our content enough with that in mind.
Absolutely, but that might terrify some people. Whatever you put into the internet is going to stay there forever.
Yes, but it will.
Yeah, well then improve your skills once again and see where the journey takes you. One step, one post at a time.
Yeah, sure. So what are the skills that people need to develop in order to become, like, not even LinkedIn specialists, but just good enough that they feel confident putting themselves out there? Because I know a few people on LinkedIn who are super raw. They're super raw. There's nothing produced or designed about their images. They just take a selfie, take a shot, and it's really good. It's good. It's very real and raw. So what do people need to know in order to produce themselves online?
You basically already said it. It's all about being human, and I write human with Y-O-U. So it's human, aka authentic. Your real self, whatever that means.
Yeah.
We, especially on LinkedIn, because we believe that it's a business platform. And again, I just once created a post in which I asked, what does professional mean to you? And I think I got around 300 comments, and amongst these 300 comments, most probably 290 people said something different about being professional. So we put this word professional on a pedestal, although everybody has a specific definition of it. Okay, so let's park professional. What is it all about? It's about building relationships. How do you build a relationship? By getting to know somebody, liking them, knowing them, trusting them. So what do you need to do so that somebody knows you, likes you, and trusts you? This is the main question. And my magic answer is self-awareness and self-development. When you start to become kinder and nicer and more compassionate, more curious towards yourself and life, when you then take that, or take these lessons learned and share them with the world, you inspire other people, you give them hope, and you lead the way. You do not only talk, but you walk the talk. And I think especially nowadays with so many coaches, consultants, service providers, whatever out there, in my world, for me, being good at what you do is a given. I mean, if you wouldn't be great at what you do, I wouldn't hire you, I wouldn't work with you. So the big question is, do I like you? Do I want to spend 6 weeks being coached by you? Do I want to regularly catch up with you and work on topic X, Y, Z? So give your best to portray yourself as you truly are, you know, taking into consideration that it's social media, so you might not want to talk about everything and every little detail, but you decide how far you go. Start here and then take it in one step after the other.
Okay, so on the, what I would call the less professional but more authentic side, I've got family, right? And I've heard both ends of this spectrum. Never ever post a picture of family on LinkedIn. Always post pictures of family on LinkedIn, right? And where would you end on that? Like for an executive such as myself, who's I'm presenting a personal brand, I'm marketing myself as authentically as I can, and I actually don't know what the right thing is to do. Do I introduce my family to my LinkedIn?
That heavily depends on your target audience and your goals. So your ideal customer, is he or she married?
Generally, yeah. Most of the people that I deal with, they have families. And I talk a lot about work-life blend and the fact that when I'm with my family, I'm thinking about my clients. When I'm with my clients, I'm also thinking about my family. There's no compartmentalization in my head. It's just life, and it's all happening all at the same time, which is, I think, awesome, because then I don't divide my time like that. I tell my clients I don't rent my time, I rent space in my head. And that's the truth, actually, because very often, like, I'll be hanging out with my family, and I'll come up with new ideas for them. But it's been a debate of mine just in the last few weeks even, is should I post it? I'm going to try it maybe. I'm going to put a picture of my family on LinkedIn and see what the reaction is. And
take it from there.
Take it from there.
I think marketing is all about testing, always be testing and experimenting and figuring out, and maybe even asking your audience, would you like to read more content about my family or about life-work blend, and take it from there. The only thing that
I've never thought of asking them about that.
Why don't we ask?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not blaming you, but this is interesting.
It does make a lot of sense. I could have asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only small thing that I believe is very, very important is ask your partner plus your kid/kids, is it okay if I post that picture of us online?
Yeah, sure.
Because what I find a little bit disturbing is when some parents post pictures or videos of their kids in situations that I personally wouldn't want the world to see. Okay, now I'm 3 and I'm doing it, and then eventually I'm going to turn 18 or 30 or 40 and be the CEO of a huge company. And then 30 years ago, you see me semi-naked, running around in diapers, having Nutella all over my face. Like, nah, you could have asked me.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Sure.
So as long as you get it okay from the kids and from a partner, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so that's really helpful actually on the family side. I'm going to ask. I'm probably going to post a picture and I'll see what the reaction is, because I'm curious to know. And I think honestly, LinkedIn is changing as well, and is becoming a lot more personal because business is personal. And I think the narrative is catching. Yeah. Right. So it's starting to become a little bit more well accepted. On the professional side, I know I've recently joined the Forbes Coaches Council, and I know you're also a member, so congratulations and
thanks.
Welcome to the council, and I feel good to be here. How important is it, do you think, for people who are building their brand to belong to professional associations in order to build their brand online?
So I think is one of many, many ways to get more visibility and work on the PR side.
Right.
I mean, a great personal brand starts with working on the inside, then you work on the outside. You look the part, so you have something recognizable about you. So before the show, again, we talked about your awesome shoes. You're the guy who's very business, but has these freaking funny shoes, very, very rich in character and unusual. So I remember you. When I will go into a mall next time and I'll see a pair of unusual male shoes, I'll have a automatic link in my head. Yes. Dr. Corey. You know, and this is amazing because what we want to achieve is, again, that people think of us, and next time when they have a problem and they know that you can solve the problem, they're going to call you.
Right.
Funny shoes guy.
Right.
There you go. So, okay, we have this. Then we create content, we work on our network, on our relationships, we do lead generation, and I always take the example of Amazon or TripAdvisor, any other platform. People tend to buy or go for a product or service that has a lot of stars or a lot of ratings. Right. And public relations for me is the same. Right. It's just the clap clap or the thumbs up of other people who said, yes, I endorse you, yes, she's good,
so
yes,
the recommendation
he's amazing.
section on LinkedIn, you want to make sure to populate that.
Yeah, but for me, being part of an association like Forbes Coaches Council is the same. It's just another, I know a lot of people don't hear that. So it is one way of getting a quality seal, if I want to call it that way.
Yeah, no, it's an appropriate metaphor, right? A quality seal, like, hey, we've inspected this one.
Exactly.
She's okay. Yeah. You can trust her.
Yeah.
Right?
And this is what it's about.
Yeah, we've looked into the background, and it's been good. Yeah, I agree. I think some certifications, I realized actually just a couple of months ago, I hadn't even put up all of my certifications online, and I had not asked anybody for recommendations in forever. Okay. So I finally started to ask some people for recommendations, and they're coming, and that's even building up my own profile. And you might think I have it all together on LinkedIn because, well, I'm Dr. Corey Block, but I don't. Actually, I'm winging it too. We're all winging it.
True.
And, yeah, and it's true. And even our wizards are, like yourself, are figuring out new things that can be done and should be done on LinkedIn. And as we figure those things out, we're actually changing the course of content on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. I'm not a VIP. I consider myself a WIP. Work in progress.
Fantastic. I love that. So what would you say gives you the greatest or strongest sense of meaning in your job?
For me, it is seeing people go through this transformation, and then on the other side of the tunnel, they come out and they gave themselves permission to shine. So I work with a lot of people who are very strong in their mind.
Yeah.
Based on the disc model, they would be very blue, and they're very ambitious. But there's this yellow, playful side that is a little like sleeping. And because I give my best to lead the way and being a little bit cuckoo or out there, they figure out their way of bringing that side that is sleepy or in the shadow back to life. And the more they tap into this authentic voice, the more, their energy is on a higher level. Their eyes are bigger.
Yeah.
They attract the dream clients. This has a positive effect on their family, on their relationships, on everything in their life.
Of course.
So, and then they go out there and help other people do that as well.
Right.
So that really makes me happy. I think that's the reason why I'm here.
Yeah, well, I've long believed we don't stop pretending when we're adults, right? We don't grow out of pretending, right? But it just becomes a lot more serious and a lot less fun.
Yeah. Why? No. Right? So let's put that away.
Yeah. So one of my big narratives is that business is a game. Okay, it's just a social game. It was made up by people who made up games on playgrounds when they were kids. We made up all these cool games. You be the storekeeper, and I'm going to sell you rocks for invisible money. And you have to play the game fairly. If you want to be invited into the game, you have to learn the rules of the game. You have to play by the game fairly. And if you cheat, then you're going to get kicked out of the game. So now our economic games are infinitely more complex. But we're still just big kids playing games.
Absolutely.
Made up games.
Yes, and I think it was Picasso who said, learn the rules like a pro to then break them like an artist.
Yeah, I love that.
And this is what it's all about. So learn the rules of the game, give your best to be part of it, and then realize, I'm not feeling that one. This one is actually a little bit stupid, or it's against my core values. So how can I channel my inner artist and pretend to not know it, or to just happen to?
We're not suggesting you sabotage your industry.
No. It's like interpretation
or ignore the regulators. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about ignoring the regulators.
But this is not legal advice.
No, but I think that just reframing what we do every day as a game gives us the opportunity to frame it as something more playful than what we've considered before. And I love that about you and your online character and who you are as a person, that you're just so playful about the game of business. And you really help to ease people's tension when you're in the room with them, to say, look, this is all just, it's all just a bit of fun. Okay, don't take yourself too seriously. And I love that because it fits in very well with my own narrative. We're living in the best time in human history. We should enjoy this.
Yep.
Right? We invite so much stress that is so unnecessary. And we just need to play a little bit better together, I think. We'll just have much more fun in the game.
Yes. So it's about, again, allowing ourselves, rewiring the thing, maybe letting go of a few things that certain institutions or people try to hammer into us.
Yeah, like Italian shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Why
Not that
so
there's
much
anything wrong with
pain?
that, but they're just hot and heavy, and I don't like them.
For certain occasions, they're beautiful and fantastic.
That's true, yes.
And maybe, based on your values for everyday life, they are not the perfect fit.
Correct.
And that is, nothing against Italy and nothing against shoes. For any shoe that now is listening and feels offended, oh my God, cancel, he doesn't like shoes. No, it's about you and what's important to you and your way of playing with it. And if we all did our work, nobody would get triggered or feel offended. Because for me, whenever somebody's like, this is just a mirror. I'm a mirror, and I'm showing you where you can heal, where you can grow.
Exactly.
And instead of taking it personally, say, thank you, okay, let me fix that. Let me evolve to the next best version of myself.
I totally get that. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. This has been an awesome conversation. I've really enjoyed it. And for those of you who are looking for a LinkedIn wizard, Natalia is the one. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for being on Business is Personal.
Thank you.
Do you feel disconnected at work? Are you feeling exhausted? Almost like you hate your job and secretly, maybe your boss too? This is Business is Personal, a blueprint to discovering and creating meaning at work in collaboration with Smashy TV, a live streaming service in the Middle East for the driven, the dreamers, and the doers.